What happens when a screenwriter becomes a novelist? Today, we're having a conversation with Laura Chinn, who is a screenwriter, director, incredible human being, and has now created her first novel. I loved this story so much. Her debut novel seriously gave me all of the feelings, and having this conversation with her felt like such a breath of fresh air. Being in that kind of pre-midlife stage and all of the expectations that are put on us, and how she infused her story with not only an incredible sisterhood, but also how to fall in love and also heal your inner child along the way. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast contains mature content intended for adult audiences only. Hello, Laura. I'm so excited to have you on the show. If you could start by telling everyone who you are and a bit about your author journey.
Yes, my name is Laura Chinn. This is my debut novel, right? I wrote a memoir in 2022. It came out. So this is my first fiction attempt. But I come from television. I come from Hollywood and written for a lot of different sitcoms. And I wrote and directed a movie called Suncoast that came out in 2024. And yeah, it's been a long journey.
I could imagine. I'm so curious how you got into Hollywood and screenwriting. Like, did you go to school for it and you kind of just moved your way into it, or what happened?
Oh, I just stumbled. It was all stumbling because I didn't go to college. I'm so jealous of people who did because they're so confident. I think kids should go to college just for the confidence. Just for the confidence. Because you have a I belong here energy, especially if you went to Harvard or Columbia. You have this I deserve this, I belong here energy that took me, I'm still working on it. So it took me a lot of years. But I worked with TV writers, a lot of Ivy League people, and they just have a sense of deserving. I'm not going to say entitled, but I want that entitled energy. It's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. What was your first one?
The first job I ever got hired for was actually the Flintstones, which was going to be a Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy.
Yeah.
He was going to adapt the Flintstones into a raunchy adult comedy on Fox.
That would have been awesome.
I know, right? It was
exciting. I totally would have watched that.
I feel like many people would have. And I think they hired a writer's room. We all met. We had a dinner. I was so excited. I was going to have health insurance. I was like, health insurance is within my reach. I was so excited. And then they backed out. I think they were just like, what are we doing? We have a vitamin and a cereal and a brand that is a family-friendly brand. And now we're just going to alter that vibe. So they backed out last minute, the day before the writer's room was supposed to start. So they were like, you don't have a job anymore and no more health insurance. Yeah. So that was my first almost job. But then I worked for a show called Animal Practice on NBC, which was a veterinary comedy, which I'm not surprised you're looking at me blankly because it's very long. Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of TV shows. I'm HBO, but for the most part, my husband's really into a lot of the shows, and he's like, oh, I'm watching this new show, and he'll tell me all about it. I'm like, that's literally all I need. I don't need to sit for hours and watch it. And I can also appreciate the amount of time and effort it takes to create something like this, right? So I'm curious, how was writing in a writer's room different than, all right, I'm the only one writing. Yeah, you have support and stuff, but I'm the only one writing this story and ideating. And what was the difference in transitioning from that? I know you had your memoir in between, but what was that like?
I was surprised when I started writing for television. I was surprised to learn that you never actually write. You spend most of the time sitting at a conference table and talking to other writers. And by most of the time, I mean 2 weeks out of the year, you're actually sitting down and writing. For the most part, you're just talking and writing on a whiteboard and sharing ideas and altering the story and adjusting. And then one writer will go off for a week and write a script. But you get that opportunity once or twice in a season. And for me, I love writing. I love it. And I think I'm in a party of one because every writer I know hates writing.
They want to do the talking.
They want to do the talking and the creating and the spitballing, which I love the sitting and writing. And so I was surprised to learn that all these people who signed up to do this thing for the rest of their life actually hate it. And so with books, I get to sit and write, and it's my favorite thing in the whole entire world. So yeah, I definitely, as far as my mental health goes, the book process is gorgeous. Yeah.
I bet. Oh, that's so interesting. All right, so you went the traditionally published route, and we do have indie authors that we talk to a lot, and I'm always curious on, especially in like today's quote unquote day and age where you can just slap AI slop on Amazon. We don't recommend or approve that, but people are doing it. Why was going the more traditional route something that you were like, okay, I want to do this?
Well, I had my agent from my memoir, so I didn't even really think about the alternative. I finished this book last year and sent it to him. And from there, he sent it around and we got with Dell, who's publishing it. And yeah, I didn't really think of the alternative because I already had Doug as my savior, hero, champion, love
Right.
of my life. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, it probably helped that you had your agent in your back pocket, because I do think that is a part that can be harder for folks, right? Is finding that person who's going to champion for you, to make sure that you're not taken advantage of, to get you the deal that you deserve to have, to put you in front of the publishing house that deserves to have your story, right? So your story is a romance novel, but I would say more novel than the romance is not the only part of the story, right? You have such incredible friendships in this friend group that you've created in this story. So before we get into the friend group, because I definitely want to go there, what can people expect from the book? It is out now, so everybody go buy it if you haven't already. Shame. Because I will shame you. Shame. Go buy it. But what can people expect if they haven't gotten it yet? What is the general synopsis of the story?
The female main character she's 38 years old, and her doctor callously tells her that her fertility is going to fall off a cliff in a year. So she's generally an anxious person, has a complex childhood, and has a lot of anxiety and neuroses that kind of come about from being told she has 1 year left, essentially. So she starts taking her motherhood journey very seriously because all of her friends are pregnant. And so some already have kids and some are having their first kid. And her life is revolving around motherhood and children and babies, and she wants to be a part of that and not get left behind by her friends. So she meets a guy, which unfortunately is necessary for some people. If you're going down that path, men are a part of it if you choose, or if that's your sexuality preference. And so she is begrudgingly, unfortunately, like, oh, I have to find a man to help me with this. And she does. She finds a guy and she falls in love with him, and he's amazing. And she's very picky. And she's like, I can't believe how much I like this guy. He's the first guy I've ever liked this intensely. And finds out that he doesn't want children and is morally
Very
opposed to having them.
adamantly.
He's morally opposed to having them, and he rants about how wrong it is for me to have children. And so she's in this very tight spot of wanting to go down this road with this person and doesn't want to settle for a guy that is less her type and less her everything than this person, but also wants to go down this path. So she, gets in a tight spot.
Yeah. When I read the premise, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. I already knew I'm going to enjoy this story. And I told you before we hit record, this book made me feel so much. As a daughter, as a parent, as someone with a very traumatic childhood, as someone who is part of friend groups, just all of it, of the push for society, especially on women, that you're only good up until your time is up at this point. And on my business side, I run a podcast production company, and we have a client who talks about menopause, and it's called Pleasure in the Pause. Everybody go check her podcast out. It's fantastic. But she interviews all these doctors, and she talks about all of the different hormonal changes and this transition that happens in life, and how your life isn't over. You can still be sexy and have fun and like do all these things. And so I feel like that has helped a lot. So I'm like, all right, I'm on the other side of 35. We're heading in that direction. I'm pretty sure my mom was going through perimenopause in her early 40s, so I know what to look for, right? All of those things. But just imagining being 38, having this great friend group who's been with you since high school that are like your absolute besties. You've been with them through all of their relationships and all of their, getting pregnant. And I'm sure the fears of, am I pregnant? Am I not? There's all of those different things that happen in early motherhood. And then being like, I'm literally the only one who doesn't have this thing that I definitely want or feel like I want or feel like I should have because everybody else around me has it. And it made me think so much about the conversations that I have with my kids where it's like, we need to be present. We need to be grateful for the things we have. You have so many incredible things now that we can play with. We don't
Yes.
have the new thing too.
I know. And I think that's part of the self-help world of vision boarding and manifesting. And especially if you have underlying issues of anxiety and whatnot, the idea of someone telling you you should be manifesting your future can overwhelm you. And you're like, okay, got it. I'm only going to focus on the future. I'm only going to focus on what I don't have. And I'm going to obsessively fix my life. So that is this character of Rhea. She is going through that.
But I love the friend group too. Each of the characters are so incredibly unique, which I love. What was your inspiration for having that sisterhood? I think that as women, we need that so desperately. Even if it's people we meet when we're older, maybe they're not with us from high school. But as you're coming up with that friend group, what was your inspiration for it?
It's funny. I've just always had close female friends, like very intimate, close female friends. And this movie that I wrote and directed that came out in 2024, it's about death and dying and it's about so many other things. But people would read the script and they would be like, oh my God, I love that these girls aren't mean to her because it's coming of age and these are high school girls. And everyone's like, I kept expecting these high school girls to turn on her, the main character. And they didn't. And that was so refreshing. And it was surprising to me because I was like, why did you expect them to turn on her? What is it? Like, I'm glad we have movies like Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls. I think it shines such an important light on how women can treat each other. But I also think we see this too many times with women being so abusive. And I didn't see that growing up. I saw shitty women for sure. And I saw shitty dudes. I saw shitty dudes plenty. And it's not everyone I came across was like the kindest, most welcoming human. But it just wasn't all I ever saw. I saw so much kindness and so much life-saving friendships have come from women. So I just always write about what I've experienced in my friendships and how life-saving they've been.
Yeah, I think it's so important to see that reflected because, like you said, yeah, we've got Mean Girls and that's fine. And also, a lot of those young women were conditioned to treat other women that way because they thought that's what they had to do to get a leg up, right? And it's like, no, in real life, you don't have to do that. We can all rise together. We all care about making sure that the person next to us has success. And so you have this moment in the book where you see a flashback of Rhea when she's a teenager and it's her first day at school. And she has I was going to say nip slip, but that's not the right one. Her ass is out pretty much.
Her ass is out.
Her
That's
ass
fair.
is out. And the school president, who later is one of her best friends, comes and covers her up and is like, if you want to sue that girl, like I saw her spill the juice. Let's go make sure you report this. Let's go. Just like a girl's girl, which I love. We love to see it. So just that aspect. And I can think about moments as I was growing up where you're new somewhere, you're maybe feeling uncomfortable. You're not really sure, are the girls here going to be mean? I worked in manufacturing. I'm one of 5 women to 150 dudes. And so you're never really sure if the other women are going to have your back. And they all did. Like now back, every single woman, like if I was like, hey, I need help, or hey, I was postpartum, so hey, I need to keep my breast milk in the tiny ass bathroom we have. Is it okay if I keep a little refrigerator here? They were like, yes, please. Is there anything you need? Do you need a spot for your other stuff because you're in an office with a bunch of guys? What do you need? So it was always the women that were like, we got you.
No, I've worked in so many writers' rooms. and I've only ever been in the minority in terms of females. There's always, and I haven't been in a room in a bit, but it was always like 3 women and 12 dudes. It's just like a general. And always, the women were always like, we have to stick together and get through this. You say something and you hear a woman laugh really loud and you're like, thanks, girl. So it's like a thing. It's a thing that I've always just tried to capture this specific way that women take care of each other. And I think especially for this, with Counting the Days, I think that one of the hard things that Rhea is going through is that the girl that you mentioned, the class president, helping her when her ass was out, became like her mom. And so that's a hard part of what I'm experiencing currently, because I don't have children. My friends all have children. And I'm like, wait, you can't have children. I'm your daughter.
Right?
What is happening? And so I'm like watching my best friend since I'm 20 holding her baby and nurturing her baby as she should be. And I'm like, you need to put that baby down and you need to hold me in your arms and you need to rock me back and forth. Yeah. So that jealousy is so real and so disturbing that you're like, I can't believe I'm jealous of a 3-year-old who actually needs a mom. So yeah, that was something that I wanted to try to capture as well.
I love that you did. There were so many moments where those intrusive thoughts that I think we just generally have. It's like, I know this is wrong, but I want to do it. There was this one, I think I highlighted it, where she's talking about, and of course I can't even think of his name right now, the male main character.
Danny, yeah.
Danny, thank you. She's talking about him and how much she loves him and how she hates how much she loves him. And she just wants to kiss his face and then smash it into the ground. Yeah. There's another one. She's like, I just want to pick up the couch he's sitting on and throw it out the window. And I'm like,
do you have this? Do you have cute aggression? Because not everyone has cute aggression.
I bite my husband often. And not like, I'm like, ow. And he's just like, what are you doing?
And like, I thought that everyone had this. I thought everyone walked around wanting to take a baby and shake it because it's so cute. You're like, I love you. The love that's coming out of my chest for my dog is my dog gives me an eye, like, because I'm like, I'm going to squeeze you a little too tight. Yeah. And I thought everyone had this, but then I read about it. It's not a phenomenon in all humans, but it is called cute aggression. And it is the desire to destroy something because you love it so much. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely have thoughts like that. I'm like, oh, your face is so cute. I want to slap it.
Yes.
But I know I'm not supposed to.
I know. And we don't, because we love the thing so much. That's what protects the thing, right? You love it so much that you're like, I want to throttle you, but I'm not going to because I love you. Yeah.
Love you. So good. Yes. Okay. So your male main character, Danny, is so evolved. We love Danny. We love the Dannys of the world. And a lot of it is because of his childhood and not having very affectionate parents, having 3 sisters that do not stop talking at all.
They don't stop.
I can already imagine the world he's living in. My 11-year-old will not shut up. Love him to pieces. But good God, sometimes I'll say something and he'll just repeat it. And I'm like, I don't need an echo right now.
God.
What?
But at least he's 11 though, right? He's 11 and like he'll grow out of it. Whereas like when there's adults that never stop talking, I'm like, how did you not grow out of this? This is what we do when we're 3. We just go bop, 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 bop. And some people don't grow out of it.
No.
They can't stop. They can't stop. You can see it in their eyes. They're like looking at you like, help, I can't stop talking. And I'm like, I know, I don't know how to help you because you won't let me interject. It's a nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. A lot. I'm thinking of someone particularly. We're not going to go. Okay.
Don't worry because they can't stop talking long enough to listen to this podcast. So you can probably just speak freely.
Yeah. I'm thinking about my mother-in-law and my husband trying to have a conversation. It is like my husband's, I'm just trying to get a thought out. And I can see her just being like, I just had advice I wanted to give, or I just wanted to interject with this little anecdote. And then it always turns. That's why we don't do longer than a week. I'm like, I am done with both of y'all. You're both going to get thrown the hell out. Anyway, So he's very evolved in how he's trying to process life. He's older. He's 43, 44,
42.
42. And so he's like, yeah, I go to therapy, and yeah, I've done yoga retreats, and I'm doing all these things to try to make myself a better person. And I understand the patriarchy, and I still want to just help this person. And I know I should maybe ask if I want to help them, but I also want to make sure that they're okay. There's a lot of like back and forth with that. And I'm like, that's so real to, like, the man who's trying to understand the world that he lives in and the privileges that he has, and also love the people around him in a way that's like, I'm not trying to be toxically masculine. I
Yes.
just also want to make sure you ate something.
Yes, I know. It's so tricky. And my husband and I talk about it all the time. Men are learning so much. Their eyes are being opened to so much. And so there's so much of, people don't like that. Oh. And then they're like, but how do I be a good person? But don't talk over you. But like just all these things. It's a constant. My husband is very into self-help and self-improvement, very emotionally evolved, cries more than I do, just like a sweet angel of like self-awareness. And we do so much. We do retreat. In the book, there's a self-help retreat that Rhea goes to. And she does like dance therapy and she does all these things. And my husband and I, we've done all these things. And we've gone to Esalen and done the naked hot springs and all of Rhea's adventures in the book. And yeah, I think it's so important to pretend men can evolve because I really think they can. And I really think they want to. And I think the majority of them don't want to be bad.
No, I 100% agree. I married an incredible man, and I think that watching him unlearn so much, especially as a father of 2 boys who are very different personalities, who, like, we said something the other day. He constantly is like, "I'm gonna put a foot up your ass." He has never put a foot up anyone's ass.
All asses are safe around him.
Right.
Good to know. Good to know.
Always. And I looked at him and was like, why do you say that if you're not going to do it? He's like, I don't know. It's just something to say in the moment. I'm like, okay. But like thinking about like our childhood versus our kids, right? And I think that being a parent can fast track a lot of that. I saw how my parents were, or I maybe saw how my dad was with me, and how he behaved when I did something wrong. And we see this a lot with Danny, the male main character in the book, where his aversion to being a parent, yes, there is a lot of the societal things, but you can tell just from the initial interactions with him and the conversations that you hear from his point of view that a lot of it is he had a really terrible father whose so much of his ego was tied into these kids. And I think that we do see that too. Oh, look what my kid did. They did this great thing. And it's like, and also they're their own little human beings. Like they're going to go off and maybe go live on the other side of the world. And as a parent, there's nothing you can do about that. And you can only do your best to prepare them for that. So it's hard to let that go. Like there's this person out in the world that you hold to your heart and they're just going to go off. Like there's so many different feelings and thoughts that can come up with becoming a parent or should you become a parent. And so I love that you have this very evolved man who still has work to do on healing his inner child and healing the things that are maybe stopping him from the life that he maybe wants to have or isn't sure if he wants to have. But yeah, the whole concept of a woman who really wants to have kids and a man who adamantly does not want to have kids. And of course, there's those moments where you're like, is she going to try to persuade him? Is he going to try to persuade her? How is this going to, how are we going to work this out? And I think you just did it so beautifully. But that childhood trauma is such a big part of the story. And I, at one point, cried. Several points, I think I cried. I teared up. And I was like, all right, we just need to get through this book. It's fine. Everything's fine. But like having Rhea, her mom was young when she had her. She was a single mom. She also had addiction issues from medication of here for your pain. And then here's more medicine for your pain. And I think we see that epidemic right now really bad with a lot of people. And so I know that this impacts a lot of folks. But You go into the book, she doesn't have her mom. And as someone who lost their mom to addiction and also had a very young mom, my mom was 17 when she had me, and my dad was 10 years older than her. Should not have happened. But it did. And there was just like, she was a single parent for a lot of her life, and there was a lot of abuse that was going on. And then there's 4 other kids after me that are not from the same father, right? And then her passing away, just I write her letters, and like I told you when we hit record, her birthday was just last week, and like there's so much healing that happens or that can happen when you are writing letters to someone who had such a huge impact on your childhood. And so I love that you have that aspect. Trigger warning for folks who may be going into this story. It is incredible, and it is sweet, and it is juicy and delicious. And trigger warnings, there is addiction and stuff like that. But I think that it's such an important reminder that when we lose people, there are still ways that they maybe talk to us from the other side, whether that's through moments you have or hummingbirds, as the book has.
Well, 100%. It's my brother passed away when I was, 19. And I wrote an entire movie about it. So I'm handling it very well. I just write about it constantly, always processing it. And my mom told me, after he died, my mom told me that someone on our street, her mom had died. And she would talk to her mom, and she said to her mom, if you can hear this, give me a sign, have somebody call me, whatever, this afternoon. And someone called her that afternoon. And she was like, wow. So she told my mom. So my mom told me this, and I'm 19, and I'm like, magic is real. And I'm like, yeah, there are spirits are everywhere. So I have, by myself in my little studio apartment, I have a full down, just breakdown sob talking to my brother. Just, I love you and all of it. Forgive me and I forgive you and all the things that you just want to say. As soon as someone dies, you're like, oh my God, I need to tell them I love them and I forgive them and I hope they forgive me. Doesn't matter who it is or what your relationship was. That's like the immediate. So I'm saying all of this and I'm like, if you can hear me, have anyone call me at 3:00 in the morning. I just picked a time that I was like, no one's going to call me. But I think it might have been 4:00 in the morning. I was like, no one's going to call me, right? And so I was like, have anyone call me at 4:00 in the morning if you can hear me. And I swear to God about this story. So I have my scream monologue to my poor brother who's like, Jesus, you dramatic psycho, right? And then I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning and I have a missed call on my cell phone at 4:02 a.m. And I'm like, you are kidding me. And I call my friend back and I go, why did you call me at 4:00? You have never called me at 4:00 in the morning. Why did you call me? And I wasn't partying at this time. I was going to bed early at this time in my life. No one was calling me at this time. So I said, why did you call me? And she goes, I don't know. She said, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep. And something in me was just like, I'm going to call Laura and see if she's awake. How crazy is this?
That is wild.
Crazy. So now anytime someone dies, I'm like, you're not dead. You're not gone. I will talk to you. I'll be one of these people that you think talks too much, right? And you can't interject because you're not physically here. And I'm going to go off on all my thoughts and feelings and you're not gone. And I just firmly believe it. And yeah. And so with this in the book, Rhea writes letters to her mom. And I really do believe that you can do it selfishly and just do it for yourself to heal. And also, I think they can hear you. So you're doing it for them too. And it's wonderful healing. And the book's a comedy. The book's a comedy also, guys.
It is. Clearly. She wanted to kiss him and smash his face into the ground.
Sure, yeah.
Yes. There's so many funny moments in it. It is so much fun. And I was kicking my feet and giggling at points for sure. And I think that it touches so beautifully on the overall human experience, right? We have those moments of very deep grief. We have those moments of anger at why isn't my life the way that it was quote unquote supposed to be at this point in my life, or always looking to the future, or I'm going to do this for myself and that's okay. And it's okay to be selfish. And actually, I'm not going to say it's selfish because this is what I want and this is what I deserve, right? Like we have those evolutions as humans. And I think that's so incredibly beautiful. Okay, everybody go buy your book. We definitely will have the link in the show notes as well as in the YouTube description. I have a question from my audience that I want to make sure that we touch on. There are a lot of book to screen adaptations happening right now. And so the question is, what makes a good book to movie or TV show adaptation adaptation to screen. What would you look for in a book that you think would make a good adaptation?
That's a great question. It's funny because I actually have never adapted anything. And it's one of the reasons why I'm writing books, because after I directed this movie, the opportunities that I was being asked to pursue were, will you adapt this book? Will you adapt that book? Right. And nothing against the books. Some of them were amazing books, but I just was like, I want to take a crack at telling my own stories, take a crack at sharing my point of view in the world, or sharing what I've experienced or what I feel about friendships or childhood or whatever. And so writing these books was also an attempt to create that so I can tell my own stories. And if I want to adapt something, I could adapt the story that I wanted to tell, as opposed to the story that some other author wanted to tell. That being said, I pray to be able to adapt things. I'm sure that at some point I'll be like, I must adapt this book, and I can't say no to that. But for me, I think it can be hard in Hollywood to tell an original story. And I think there's so much money that they have to invest in an idea. And if there's already a book and an audience, it's just so much less terrifying and there's so much less risk. And so I get why they do it. And so for me, I was like, can I perchance adapt my own stories? That would be great. But to answer the question of what would make a good story to adapt, I don't know. I think it would be, for me, just something that I connected emotionally with and felt like it had an active main character. I think it would be really hard to tell some of these novels that are so internal and no one's doing anything. No one's leaving their house. It's all just happening in one room inside one person's head. I think that would be very hard, even though it's amazing to read. And you're like, how lucky am I to be able to sit inside this person's psyche? It's so fortunate that we have books to do that. But I think when you read those books where someone's really active, you're like, oh, this would be an amazing movie or an amazing show.
Oh, that's interesting. And that answer, the second one was like, how would you know if a book won't easily translate to screen? It sounds like if it's all in someone's head. And I'm even thinking, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. So like, there's a lot of characters and a lot of storylines simultaneously happening that kind of lead to the big finale. And so it would make sense that something like that would work better. But for maybe something where I haven't watched it. Don't come after me for this. I prefer not to read gay romances by women. But
oh, got it.
Hated rivalry. I understand the excitement about it. I just also would rather read men telling their stories. That's just my own
It's a
preference.
tricky one. It's a tricky one. Every time I see another hit show about a young teenage girl written by a 65-year-old man, I'm always like, okay. That's interesting, but I don't know. But then there's great stories about men that are written by, what is it, Anne Patchett? Does she The Dutch House? Isn't that about a little boy? Is it Anne Patchett? Yeah, it's Anne Patchett, The Dutch House. I think that's about a little boy and demon. Oh my God, every title of a book is leaving my head. Barbara Kingsolver. She wrote Demon Copperhead, and that's about a little boy. So we do it. Everyone does it. It's fine, but I totally get it.
Yeah, I think for kind of like the 65-year-old man writing about teens, like where does the line of fetishization kind of arrive there? And yes, we'll have men on the podcast in this season, so you'll be able to hear them talk about their stories as well, which I think is really important. One last question was, what elements are stronger to portray in books compared to on screen and vice versa?
What are the elements?
So I think they mean is, what are the maybe personalities or storylines that make it easier to portray in a book versus actually this does not need to be a book. It should be a movie or it should be a show instead.
It's a similar thing. It's like the books can be so internal, which is why everyone has to keep reading. We have to read because we have to understand that other people think like we do or different. But that idea that, oh, this person thinks like me is one of the best feelings I've ever felt in my life. Because I grew up with just feeling very other, just in every way. I was like, I'm different. I'm different than everyone. No one understands me. And then you pick up a book and you're like, oh my God, this person thinks like me, or different, equally important. Because then you go, oh, I understand other people more, right? Because this person had a totally different experience than me because of what they look like or their background or whatever. That's so helpful. And in a movie, it's almost impossible. I think it is impossible to get no matter if you're using voiceover, and people try to really get
Yeah.
inside a character, it's just you can't be the same as with a book. It can't. And so, yeah, I think it's like in just looking at these books and how I would adapt this book that we're talking about now and how I would adapt it.
Will
I
you?
just thought
Because I
a
would
lot.
love to see that.
I would love to. I would love to turn it into a movie. I think that would be such a rewarding, amazing thing. But yeah, I think the female main, I think both of the main characters are neurotic and they have a lot of inner stuff. And so it would be figuring out, how do I get everything that's inside of her head out of her mouth so she can say it
Right.
to another character on screen? Or do you do voiceover or that kind of stuff? But I do think that
I'm
I think if
imagining her talking to all the Franks. She has coyotes that are in her yard sometimes. She named them all Frank. Doesn't matter which one it is, they're all Frank. And so I think it's Frank, right?
Steve, yes.
Steve, okay.
Steve,
She
yes.
named them all Steve.
Yeah.
And so having her talk to all the Steves about what's happening, I feel would be extremely rewarding.
I'd love to film a coyote. I say this now, but it would probably be the most impossible shoot day of everyone's life. But it would be really fun to film a coyote. I don't think coyotes are rarely on screen, come to think of it. I wonder if we don't have enough trained coyotes. That's a good thing. We have not enslaved the coyotes. But yeah, no, I think that it's finding ways to get people's internal stuff, and which is why I think if books went away and we only had movies, I think we would feel so much less connected to people's inner world and the idea that compassion for someone else's experience or feeling seen about your own.
Yeah, I saw someone recently, God, talk about a terrible take. They said they only read the dialogue in books, and that's how they get through books so quickly. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? What? You are missing so much from go watch a movie and then you can get all the dialogue. Because that's, like you said, that's the thing about books is you get to hear those inner thoughts or what's happening. I've seen Kennedy Ryan speak one time, and she'll say she has her sex scenes always created and crafted in a way that if you skip them, you're like, I missed something. Something happened in that moment, which I think is so beautiful about stories, that we can have those moments throughout that's like, no, if you skip this part, you're not going to know what the heck is going on.
Yeah. I'm reading a Zadie Smith book right now, and I can't even imagine. If I only read the dialogue, I would be lost. Especially because with a movie, you're only hearing the dialogue, but you're seeing so much context. You're getting so many questions answered by what you're seeing. I can't imagine only reading the dialogue. That's amazing. It's quite a feat. I wonder what their takeaway is at the end of the book. I wonder if they're like, I hated that book. And you're like, what? I didn't even read that book. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wild. Okay. So for people who want to check out not only your book, but also your movie and your memoir, all the things, where is the best place for them to check that stuff out? And then where is the best place for them to connect with you if they want to talk to you about your book?
I'm on Instagram. I'm really bad at social media, which is just, you're not allowed to say that anymore in 2026. You just have to figure it out, grow up and figure it out. But I'm on Instagram and I don't post as often as I should. I'm going to get better about it. 2026 is the year where I dedicate my life to showing off on Instagram. But on there, that's my only social media. And I love talking to people on there, and I always deeply appreciate when people message and connect.
Awesome. Sweet. And everybody go check out your movie as well as all the other stuff that you've done. We'll have links for your stuff in the show notes for anyone doing other things as they're listening to us or watching us. Laura, thank you so much for being on. This was an absolute honor and so much
You are
fun.
amazing. And my only sadness about this is that I can't hug you. That's killing me. You're wearing this very cozy hoodie sweatshirt. I'm like, we must hug. Okay.
Yes.
You're
Here's the
wonderful.
screen. There you go.